You may or may not have heard of the Citizen Vigilante movie, a movie that was supposedly banned in Germany. For 2 days on Elon Musk's personal Twitter account or X account, it was available for the watching. I had multiple people recommend that I watch the movie. And a lot of them from the perspective of, hey, you've got a show, you look at these things, Christian apologetics, what is your view of it? The ones who recommended it to me without telling me the content, and the ones who didn't and hadn't seen it yet, I have gotten back to. It's going to be an interesting review today. For the first time in a long time, years actually, we will be doing a movie review. We're also going to get into some history, some lighter stuff with some Nikki Knows Facts. Stick around for that. And of course, some shenanigans with Steve. And we'll be getting to the Screw Tape Letters, the final chapter before the epilogue, before we all are said and done. With that said, I've got Charlie over here, or Steve, whichever one of you turned your audio on.
That's me, man.
Before we start, if we could go ahead
again,
and please turn off our cell phones and our cellular devices. Hi, Miss Nikki. How's it going?
blew it again.
We were doing fine.
Yeah, I have no electronics in front of me. I'm not guilty of anything.
Blew it again.
Well, you're the best. So then we got to our left, Charlie.
I've got mine and it is off.
Yours is off.
Hold on,
Thank
let me
you.
turn
Hi,
my phone off.
Hi, Steve. Let's make sure that we get your audio
Let
down.
me turn my phone off, too.
And longtime friend of the show. Haven't seen you in a while. How's it going, Chauncey?
I have been blessed. How about you guys?
Doing well. Glad to have you on.
Yes, glad to see you, Chauncey.
Yes, glad to see y'all too.
And then, actually, you were there for our first movie review years ago. And so that was a lot of fun. We've got Mr. Producer. How's it going?
I'm doing good. How are y'all?
Doing fine. There is no song review today, but that's
Yeah,
probably
I
because
had
Mr.
a
Producer
busy
was up late
weekend.
partying to 3 with his family.
Mr. Producer.
So what movie did you guys review the first one? Was it the Apple Dumpling
The
Game?
Batman.
No, we reviewed the Batman.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but no, actually, it was Encanto.
But we couldn't put it
It was
out.
Encanto.
Disney.
Yeah, and it got
So y'all
we
were up
put it out, but it
partying.
got taken down by Disney because they didn't like the
like the
people,
review?
people reviewing it.
I
Yeah.
hate that when that
So if you
happens.
showed X amount, they would actually hit you with a DCMA strike. So the first one that actually got out and spent any real amount of time was the Batman.
Yeah.
And I forget, what did we rate that? I think I rated it 9 out of 10.
The Batman?
The Batman, yeah.
I
What did
think-
you rate it?
I think you and I both gave it an 8.
An 8? I don't remember if you were were you on that panel, Chauncey? I can't remember.
I'm trying to remember if I was.
It was a good movie. The Batman. It was good, but it was very different.
You were, Johnson.
It was
Which
very
one was
I
different.
was, yeah.
With Robert
Because
Pattinson.
I gave that one.
I know it's
I gave it
Pattinson.
a 9 actually.
Yeah.
The Batman.
So today we're going to be reviewing the Citizen Vigilante, and again, there are some folks here on live chat with PSB. If you're one of our regular listeners, thank you for being on. But you can also view live with us 1 to 3 Central Standard Time, God's Time Zone on PSB's channel on Rumble. So we are going to go through what we see here, and I want to kind of break down the worldview of this because there are a lot of conservative commentators that are latching onto this wholesale, and I think that we should look carefully what we put behind a movie because Christianity and conservatism, those are values that are beyond just a simple movement. And I want to make sure that we're careful what we use as our flag and standard bearers. We sometimes take stuff on too quickly, but I will say I did partially enjoy the movie. Spoiler alert on the end. Mr. Producer, I want you to pull up the clip in just a moment. We're going to pull up the first clip. And for those of you who haven't seen it, who in here has watched any part of this? Steve, you've watched part of it.
Yes.
Didn't get through all of it.
No.
Had you even heard of this?
Haven't heard of it.
Well,
So this is gonna be
Chauncey,
new to me.
Charlie,
I
and
haven't
Nikki
heard
are
of
not
it.
chronically online.
Yep.
And Ryan had a lot of stuff this weekend that he just wasn't able to even pay any attention to a movie review, although that's
Party.
normally his
He
thing.
was
Party,
partying.
Well, actually,
Not for this kind of movie.
and this
Captain
movie
was
is
partying.
kind of brutal. So it is a rated R movie, and so we did actually censor this. So the start of the movie is actually the protagonist and his mom going to a shopping center in Germany, and this is modeled after several real events. And they leave the store, and this is what ensues. So that's kind of the start of the movie. I cut through it because, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it yet, there is a brutal issue of editing. There was about a 45-minute worth of story and a 90-minute runtime. And so we cut also, you could see that we had to blur stuff out. It was, I have not seen this much blood since those early 2000 movies where they would
That
just
was
gratuitously
a
use
lot.
lots of squibs and just lots of blood.
Yes.
It's got to be one of the poor examples in recent memory of the use of gore. So, but what I'll say is this movie at least is bringing some cultural understanding and awareness to a problem that is plaguing Europe right now. It is no longer safe to walk the streets. We just saw this happen with Henry Novak. That is a common issue. Now, where does the story go from here? Because I want to parse out two things. There's a point that the story's trying to make, and then there's a way it's trying to be made. B.A. Uncle Sam actually mentioned this a little bit further on. It's definitely not a Christian film. And I want to get to why Christians need to be very careful about wholeheartedly embracing some of these films. Vigilante films are not intended to be Christian films, even when written by Christians. They're supposed to be tragedies. But also, the authors can have underlying premises that are also not suitable for Christians to use as a standard bearer. There's a difference. You can be a Christian and you can write a vigilante movie. But if you come to conclusions and you're purveying conclusions that are ultimately not Christian, then it shouldn't be a standard bearer or a flag bearer for your movement. And so I will go just a little bit further, and then I actually want to bring up a couple of issues with this next scene. This is what follows immediately after that initial credit. Go ahead and play. Now, that cheesy part right there about, oh, I want to marry him. Oh, I want to, and you have these social media influencers who go throughout the film. Steve, I don't know, when you were watching this, did you sit there and go, Europe? These people are walking free?
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me. Because next cut, Mr. Producer, this is just an infographic. 12,000 people in the UK alone, not even talking about Europe, which is where this is set in Germany, 12,000 people have been arrested, some of them for 10-year sentences for naughty social media posts, okay? As per the Section 127 of the Communications Act of 2003, Section 1 of the Malicious Communications Act of 1988. And you can see on that graph, Turkey in 2023 arrested 500, China 1,500, Germany 3,500, Belarus 6,205, UK 12,183 arrests for not nice social media posts. Thank you, Mr. Producer.
Wow.
So this is one of those movies that's a self-insert, and it's actually much worse in some ways than the movie puts it on because you wouldn't be free to say those things over there. You're let off
That is
with
unreal.
2 years of community service in one case for doing sexual assault, but you're put 10 years in prison for, I kid you not, selling T-shirts that are anti-mass migration.
Oh my gosh.
So compare
10
those
years?
two. Compare those two. Yes, in the UK. Compare those two.
I don't think there's a comparison to that.
One's unjust,
One's just like
and the other one is
They're
more
like
unjust.
way past.
They're not even similar.
No.
And they want to criminalize you. So this movie does a good job starting, I think, with at least bringing the culture conversation about. But I actually want to go to my primary issue. And on the live chat on PSB, BA Uncle Sam, you actually hit at one of my central issues. And it comes off in Michael is the main character. Michael's online manifesto that he publishes. It's very, very strange the way the movie was cut. Like it was almost like done as a documentary. But Mr. Producer, we're going to move fast here because there's a lot to cover. Go ahead and pull up this. This is where he invokes Nietzsche. And then you have about, I kid you not, 3 minutes of establishing shots of drone shots and military vehicles. It's just, I'm sorry, I'll say it only one more time. The editing on this movie was abysmal. But Miss Nikki, I saw the look on your face as you were watching what he was saying. The government was never meant to protect you.
Well, it's a mindset, a dangerous mindset. God is the creator of government. Government is to promote good and to punish evil. And it brings great confusion when evil is not punished
Agreed.
Amen.
Yeah.
into a society. So here, and he's talking about, they control you. That's, you can look into history. You can see bad governments. You see good governments. But not all of them are there to control you.
Correct. By definition, where was government instituted, and when was it given the ultimate ability, which is the capital punishment?
That was Old Testament. That was back in
Genesis 9,
yeah.
3 through 6.
Yep.
And you will require the blood of the man who sheds innocent blood. And that was when you were given the authority to bring about the death penalty.
And then you go further in, I want to say it was First Kings, where Saul is made king. The plea was for Samuel, give us a king.
Yep.
And Samuel said, you do not need a king. And he pleaded with God not to cave in on this. And God did. And he said, and you're going to tell him this is what's going to happen when you do it. And we are living the fruit of that 1,000 times
Yeah.
today.
Yeah. And so I think that there is inherent a failure to understand even Nietzsche. And the next cut, Mr. Producer, is a quote from Nietzsche, and I want you to throw that up there. This is what Nietzsche would have said to this. He who fights monsters might take care lest he thereby become a monster. If you gaze for long into the abyss gazes also into you.
That's a striking statement.
And so I think Nietzsche would actually disagree with this film at its core tenet. Nietzsche, not a Christian, not
By
a
any
conservative.
stretch.
And where did he end up dying? He was where? In the insane asylum? Did he not end up in the insane asylum?
I've got to fact check that. I've got to
Okay.
fact check that. Help me out with that. Someone in the comments in the chat as well, go ahead and fact check that. But all of that to say, Nietzsche really understood the issue of breaking with morality. His whole God is dead monologue is the man saying, once we've separated ourselves from the institutionalized understanding of an external morality that is above us all, we will need to construct something artificial or we will fall into darkness. And he was someone who was reaching for that. He desired to be free from God and from morality. But he could not supply an adequate, long-standing, and viable worldview that would have a godless society that still maintained social harmony. Charlie, you've got my fact check ready.
Yeah, so
Or Nikki's fact check.
not exactly. He did suffer a catastrophic mental collapse in January 1889. That was while he was in Turin, and the exact cause remains debated. Could have been neurosyphilis, stroke, or series of strokes, brain disorder, another neurological illness. He was admitted to a psychiatric clinic in Basel. He was then transferred to a mental institution in Jena. However, he did not spend the rest of his life in an insane asylum. His mother eventually took him into her home and cared for him. And after her death, his sister, Elizabeth Forster Nietzsche, cared for him in Weimar.
So
But he was definitely,
Out of it.
he was out of it.
all of that to say, it breeds hopelessness.
He wasn't sick. He was ill.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an illness of the soul. It was an illness of the soul.
Yeah.
Speaking about illnesses of the soul, someone on PSB's live chat asked, why, this is Donovan New Day 777, why would there be a scene in there involving women of the night? Well, it's because it's funny. I was watching this, Steve. I was sitting here thinking, this guy, I wonder if he's ever been married. No, probably not. They're going to play him up to be the bad guy, the bad boy who goes and gets what he wants when he needs it and pays for a price.
Right.
I'm sitting there watching this, just kind of critiquing it. Mr. Producer, unfortunately, hates this about me. I will critique a movie to death while watching it. I can't turn it off.
I
I'm
do
sitting
the
there,
same thing.
I'm sitting there going, what are they going to do next? How are they going to play this out? What's the next plot point and contrivance? And sure enough, 20 minutes later, there is a 12-minute scene in a house of ill repute. And
Correct.
6 minutes of it, not because I watched, but because I did download this to edit out. And you'll see later there's a bunch of words that are edited out for YouTube and social media. It was 6 minutes of what I can only describe as completely no filter. Everything is unabashedly shown. Why? I don't know. That's why I'm saying conservatives need to be really careful what they use as their standard bearers. We really need to be cautious about that. And it was just, unfortunately, I was halfway enjoying the film until we got to that point. I was annoyed by the edits and the bad editing and the fluff that was in there. But then it got to the point where it kind of turned me off from the movie as a whole. Not a great.
The movie wasn't too bad except for that part right there.
It was
kind of like,
yikes. Why did you
was
do that?
like
That's a lot.
that.
6 minutes is a lot.
Yeah.
Any is a lot. But 6
Yeah.
minutes is now like, okay, this is someone who is self-inserting. And by the way, I read an article on that scene after not watching it. The guy stopped in the middle to complain about the main character, because he's a real estate guy.
Right.
And to hammer
Yes.
that home, he stops in the middle and complains about the mold
Yes.
on the ceiling to the woman that he's paying for comfort at night. And it's a strange movie. It's like She-Hulk, where you say, why would they write it that way? It's because it's a self-insert. And we as conservatives need to get away from the woke right, self-insertion, bad tropes that we complain about the left doing. We need to stay away from that too. And we need to call it out when we see it and say, dude, you're not telling a great story. The subject matter is weighty and worth dealing with. And we'll get to the subject matter, I promise. But some of this stuff is like, this is clearly a revenge fantasy by one person. And it's not well executed, and it's not something that I think should be a standard bearer for the conservative movement. But I'm glad that we're talking about it. I'm very thankful that we're talking about it, and we ought to. So it's kind of a hard line to pull. Sometimes the correct is in the middle, and the middle is never comfortable to be in. I'm not against the movie, and I'm not necessarily jumping on the bandwagon with a lot of large conservative names and libertarian names saying it's the best thing since the Titanic or since the Passion of Jesus Christ. It's not. It's just a mediocre at best movie. But talking about a real issue, and that's, I think, the real news story is why this is making an impact. And we haven't even got to the best part of the movie. It's like this movie was made for clips for social media. Speaking of which, this is one of the parts in the scene in the movie that I just had a real issue with, is when he is confronted with the, by the way, the whole thing with the brothel, the whole scene was him basically getting trapped. They found out who he was, and they were able to track him down to his home, where this scene ensues. And I can't show you the next part because the amount of squibs that they used, there was blood everywhere.
Entirely too much.
It was like a Saw movie.
mean,
it's like a Ripper movie.
Unreal.
It was gratuitously over the top, violent. And Bliss America said it correctly on PSP's live chat. It's gratuitous and lowbrow. Wakanon said the movie was made for sheep of either side. And I think that's pretty good. B. Uncle Sam, the main character is cold and unfeeling. I think that's something that we need to make sure that we're really careful about, because again, like I said, I have a lot of really wonderful people who were well-meaning, said, hey, have you seen the movie yet? They saw the clips, they forwarded me the clips, and they hadn't watched the movie, and then they didn't know that there was 12 minutes of just absolutely untoward content in this, and also 12 minutes of freaking B-roll with nothing happening. So we need to be careful what we recommend, just from the artistic perspective, but even more importantly from a content perspective. I think that unfortunately we've kind of lost a lot of understanding of what is valuable. And there is a scene that I thought was interesting in this. And this is a scene where he's come into this is the part that really resonates for people. He comes into the hospital where a woman has been interred after going through one of these events. And there was a real event in Cologne, Germany in 2016 where a woman was taken by 5 different men, It was 5 or 7. I forget. I think Cologne was 5. And they ultimately got off with community service and mental help. It was said of them that they had traumatic integration.
Oh dear.
And so there's 2 of these women in this film. And one of them he goes to and he visits, and this is what he says. And this is, I think, key to understanding the premise behind the protagonist's view.
What do you want to happen?
What do you mean?
The men who did this to you. What do you want to happen to them?
So in that moment, you can see he's empathizing to a point with his mother and what was done to his mother, the character is. Mm-hmm. And I think all of us on this panel are thinking about this. We've been talking about this for years. And we've been
just
watching
did a
it get
show
worse.
last week on the 250,000.
Yeah. 250,000 during the rape gang inquiry
Yep.
In the UK. And so this is a real thing. And this is why this movie is resonating. This is why people are picking up on it. I feel bad that it was done by Uwe Boll.
Uwe Boll.
Uwe Boll. Look, nothing against him, but Blood Rain and a bunch of really just Jason Statham movies would not be my pick. I'm glad that it was done. I've got my issues with how it was done, but I'm thankful that there's a cultural conversation going on about real women who are in a hospital right now today because of people who do not believe as we do. It has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with culture. It has everything to do with what you believe is permissible about women. The woke left will like to talk about, Me Too, and they want to talk about rape culture. You're letting in a culture that thinks that's permissible under certain circumstances.
Yep.
So the outrage is real, and it is a good thing for us to be outraged. There are positive and negative ways to channel that. Now,
Okay, so
go ahead.
Panorific, you nailed it, bud. He has a good point here, and until we clean up our judicial system, and same in Europe, we will not have justice. We have lawfare for the whistleblowers. I think that's a spot-on point right there, and I think that
We talked about this month.
Yeah.
The length of discovery.
Yep. I think one of the things that bothers me here is we have gotten to this point because we have let so many people off. When you think about why Donald Trump was elected, why was Donald Trump elected? I'm going to tell you there were 2 big reasons. One of the biggest reasons is that he was willing to hold people accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I had disappointments that he didn't go after Hillary regarding the email server, but so be it.
Good luck.
Well, yeah. But the
It's
thing
hard
is-
to do.
I understand. But the thing is that he was willing to do that. And what is it that people are clamoring for today? They want the things that were done under the Biden administration to be prosecuted. And they fear that nothing will be done. It'll just constantly be covered up. What did that woman want? She wanted justice. What did she claim she wanted? She wanted them to go to jail. If we took our justice system and did exactly that, we would not be in the mess that we're in right now.
We wouldn't be
Because
having that conversation.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
This conversation wouldn't exist
Yep.
if the government did its job.
Yeah.
And that's the whole key. The tone of what I think the movie is getting at. I definitely understand. There's something that comes to my mind in this, and I had a really good conversation with a former church member here, who has since moved to Arkansas, and this was several years ago, and there was a lot of clamoring about paramilitary groups and
Sure.
being ready to. At what point do you jump in to do something like that? Now,
It's when your family is actually at risk that you
and
do it.
here's this is where I'm going. You're
It's when your family's
nailing it.
actively at
Yeah.
risk that you have to do
The
this.
2 witnesses in Revelation. Did they ever attack?
Nope.
No, they did not.
They were at peace.
They were there to witness and proclaim, but when they were attacked, oh boy,
It was not good.
it was not pretty
So we're supposed to be well armed
and ready.
and ready. We're supposed to be when it's time, and you have to be walking with God to understand
Amen.
this. There's a time, blessed and precious in the eyes of the Father are the death of his saints.
Yes.
There's a time for that. However, if someone is just going to take your life on the side of the street, that's different from being persecuted for your faith.
Yep.
If someone's just going to take your wife or your daughter's life and ruin it, or even worse, take it entirely after a horrible, horrible deed, you are called as a man to protect your wife. You're called as a man to protect yourself. You're called as a woman to protect yourself. You have a duty. The family order is the basic structure. When the government fails to protect that, you're going to have people wanting to start to hold the government accountable.
And that's what.
Amen.
And that's what
this
we're
is
looking
doing.
at.
That's it.
Right. It's funny. It's so funny that you bring that up because there was a pastor that was arrested for protecting his family.
I was just going
Yes.
to bring that up.
Yes, yeah. So that
That's
happened this
what I'm
last
talking
week.
about, yeah.
That happened this last week. This man said he was going to burn down the church.
Yeah.
We were going to bring that up later, but let's talk about it right now. I don't have a clip for it, but he basically came out and absolutely whooped the guy.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of Christians who wanted to say, wait, no, you can't do that.
Yes,
No,
you
no,
can.
What?
This man said over and over he was going to burn down your family's house while you were gone.
Right.
He's going
He
to
was
take
going
your
to do some
wife.
things to your wife.
He was going to do
Yeah.
unheard of things to his wife and his daughters and kill them.
Yeah.
Make sweet, sweet hate to his wife. Say it that way. And he made all of these horrible, horrible claims. And finally, the guy says, okay, you want to go? Let's go. And he absolutely pounded that little string bean.
Yeah, he-
and I
That's caught on
enjoyed,
tape.
He
I mean, he
loved
pounded
that
him.
guy.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not sorry. I enjoyed
Well,
it.
and I don't. And now I saw the pastor came out and he was sharing what he did and why he did it. I don't have a problem because as long as you have to accept the consequences of it.
Right.
Now everything is on. He said everything is on tape. So he said that he had reported this to the police and nothing was done. So I'm my one question was, wasn't there a restraining order? If somebody is violently.
Yeah, he had a restraining
threatening.
order.
Did he have a restraining order?
And he was talking across the street and he was
Yep.
saying he was going to violate it. So you know what? There is a time for you to take this action, but when it's imminently affecting your family.
Right.
You cannot go in vigilante justice. And Aquinas said this very well. In effect, if I can distill him, you are taking the sword from the correct holder and you are executing it yourself.
Yep.
You have a right to defend yourself, but you do not have the right to take the executioner's sword.
You also have a
for
right
yourself.
to protect your family.
It's different.
Also-
It's different than the executioner's sword, though. One is the sword of defense, and one is the sword of the executioner. So
Correct.
you cannot go and adjudicate crimes, and that's the line that the Christian has to.
Beating up a guy is a little different than executing a guy.
Well, no. I think he's protecting his family. If someone says, I'm going to in front
Right.
of your face, they are threatening.
Yeah,
But you
that's
know-
Right.
We're talking about, we're hooking back to the movie here.
Right.
Because we have
Oh,
to
okay,
finish
okay,
this.
okay,
And then we
okay.
can move on to the next.
Okay.
Okay?
I
Because
thought
we
you
have
was
to
talking
finish
about
one
the
thing.
pastor, and I was
So,
thinking, no, that pastor didn't.
To
can't
continue
kill
forward,
anybody.
I agree with you. But to continue forward, we gotta make sure that we actually close one loop before we move on to the next. So I think it's very interesting that he had to get permission. You see, the guy in the film, Michael, he goes and gets permission from the victims, and in his mind, and that leads well actually into this, he assumes the authority of executioner to go and to take life when there's no life at immediate threat, but to take vengeance. And so, again, this is an anti-hero flick, noted. But I want to bring in the bad Nietzsche references, the bad understanding that's also at the heart of this. And I think we can better understand what's wrong with this film. But here's what the piece that everyone was sending me, and I actually saw this and I thought, wow, that's very dark, but I understand why they made it, is this one. And this scene right here is where he confronts the family that ultimately colluded in the sexual assault of this young lady. Go ahead and play that. It's clip number 9, Mr. Producer. By the way, this is not the episode for kids to be watching, but I still had to cut the actual video out for that scene. It was very bloody. And that scene lands hard. And again, you're not supposed to make a film like this. And people aren't supposed to say, yes, I want to go out and do that right now. But it is supposed to speak to the angst and the anger that a lot of people have thought in their minds over and over again. That's the issue with an anti-hero movie. It's not supposed to be a call to incitement to violence, but it is supposed to play on your anger and prejudices. I think a lot of people here sympathize to some extent with all of the words that he said. And what's really tragic is if the government would do its job and actually prosecute actual crimes,
Yep.
Yeah.
victimed crimes, as opposed to guys who sell T-shirts. Speaking to the issue of the crimes that are being let off with 24 months of community service, okay? On one end, you have the citizens speak up and they say, we don't like this. We're going to use our free speech to wear a T-shirt and say, we don't like it when you bring people here who actually believe it's okay to harm women in this way. And then you arrest them, you put them away for 10 years. But the harm that's being done, the real sexual assaults, those are let off and allowed to walk the streets free. You wouldn't have the feelings and the sentiment brewing if you just prosecuted the people who believed that was okay. And by the way, I got family and friends who are, under the religion of Islam. False religion. Sorry, guys. I'd be Islamic if I believed it was correct. Probably not, though, because of all the bad things that are in there that I just can't agree with. I just cannot get behind. I'm sorry. But my family and friends who are Islamic would not do these things.
Correct.
They don't have those beliefs. If you wanted to prevent Islamophobia, maybe you would actually just prosecute crime when it happens.
Hello?
But now we're told it's the way they are. Traumatic integration. It's who they are. It's inextricably intertwined with their character. Do you want to breed Islamophobia? I'm putting quotation marks on that. Do you want to breed racism? Keep doing that. Keep doing that. This movie is a product of people having pent-up feelings and not being allowed to share them and being put in prison for it. I don't like I don't like that scene, but I also appreciate it.
I will say this: when nobody really deep down believes that we should leave our doors open, our keys in our car. We all have borders, and we have borders to protect our family and to protect ourselves. Why we don't have, why people believe in open immigration, I don't understand. Because
I still don't.
yeah, I don't understand that is because.
Let me explain it to you.
Hold on just a minute, because I'm trying to make a point. Just hold on.
Make your point. Sorry.
So, to allow people to come in here illegally is embracing lawlessness. And so you've embraced lawlessness at one point. And so when that person proves that you're wrong, you have to embrace lawlessness again.
Yeah.
Because if you say that an illegal immigrant who's here and commits a crime should be punished or sent back, then, and you defend it, you're defending lawlessness again because of your lawlessness, the first point, allowing them to come in.
And what's crazy is that they'll go to that one verse in Leviticus and they'll just butcher the mess out of it, where it talks about if there's a foreigner or alien that's in your land, you got to treat them as such. But they don't want to go to the verses above it where it says if there's a foreigner or alien in your country, they have to live by
your
the laws of that land. So
Amen.
It's like,
Correct.
It's
Correct.
Like, you can't
Correct.
get around that. It's like, why y'all sharing this verse, but y'all don't want to go to the verse right here? It's like, okay.
Correct. And someone in the comment section, half right, says Islam isn't a race. Totally agree.
Correct.
But they will conflate that.
Yeah.
They will conflate that. And that's what I'm saying. There's a religious
point.
system that's a political order. And then there are races of people that there are a lot of people who have subscribed to that political order. But to explain the question, the government, politicians, they become lawless in this way. They are trying to buy themselves a voting block.
That's right.
But they
Yes.
cannot reconcile the fact that these people have their own political view. Islam is a political worldview.
Yes.
And it by definition, jihad must be carried out culturally, politically, and then physically. As soon as you're able to, you take over the nation. Especially if you're one of these people who comes from a nation. And again, I want to be careful because I do want to split the baby carefully. There are people who don't believe this. I believe the Quran teaches this emphatically. So sorry, I disagree with my friends and family who would say, "Oh, but Islam's not like that." Purest form of Islam, what you see in its cradle, is like that.
Oh yeah.
It is like that in its cradle, in its birthplace. Islam is a political, fascistic regime
Yep.
that is building towards the next caliphate. Okay, they want to build a new caliphate, and you're importing them in mass, and they don't believe in women's rights. They don't, and that's something that the left says they care about. But guess where they're nowhere to be found when it comes to the increase of just horrible, horrible things that are happening in Europe. So, yeah, not something to be emulated. But again, an anti-hero movie in of itself is not to be emulated. It's supposed to be a tragedy where you see someone do something evil for a reason that might have an inkling of truth in it. I'm not going to say that Uwe Boll is calling for this. He's not. I think anyone who says that is being disingenuous. You don't understand the genre. The genre is never supposed to be prescriptive. It's supposed to be descriptive. So I'm not going to say that Uwe Boll wants this, and I don't think any of us do. But we see that, and we get some catharsis in the sense of, where's the justice? Where's the justice? And so there's one more scene that I think, frankly, put the whole movie in a very negative light for me. And I want to go ahead and play this, and just to wrap up this review, before we get to some of the stats on this, let's go ahead and play this next cut. This is where he's taking one of the judge who actually let out all of those kids and that whole family that you let him off the hook.
Interesting scene.
This is the scene where he's driving him out to the pasture to fake his self-offing. So go ahead and play that, Mr. And we cut that part. That was very graphic. Going down the street as opposed to crossing the road, if you know what I mean. If you don't worry about it. Don't look it up.
Unless you're chicken.
The biggest issue, unless you're chicken, the biggest issue with that scene I have is notice how he just kills some random person who's driving
Yes.
down the road.
And where's the justice for that person?
And that's where I really feel like
That's a
unintentionally, it made the point against vigilantism
I would say
and against the utilitarian view that I think Uwe Boll has.
I would say there's been a cry in the last couple of years over these judges who are letting people out and giving these light sentences. And I would say that we probably need to put some laws on the books. Otherwise, if this is what people are attracted to, there's going to be problems down the road. So put some laws on the books to get rid of judges who are not enforcing laws.
No,
Yeah.
we've got them.
Yeah.
We've got them.
We've got
the laws.
We've got the laws. We
We-
don't
we-
Then
enforce
they
them.
need to be
Remove 'em.
enforced.
We
can remove them.
Yeah.
We need to absolutely, we have the ability to do it. Unfortunately, people don't understand that a judge has judicial immunity as long as they're acting in good standing. The moment they're not acting within the confines of their constitutional duties, and most judges have violated their constitutional oath of office many times. Some of them do it every case that they're in.
Let's give a
And
modern.
nobody's doing anything about it.
So it absolutely needs to be
Yeah.
upheld.
It's even happening at the highest level in our court system, which is the Supreme Court.
I was just going to bring
Yeah.
that up. Ketanji Brown Jackson is probably the poster child for impeaching or pulling off a justice.
Because they
She can't even coherently make
Correct.
a reasonable argument.
She don't know what
Correct.
a woman is.
As a matter of yeah, and
Right.
somebody
well, even worse, when you actively violate your oath of office,
yes,
that is where you have a
Yes.
serious issue. And so I think that there's a serious question there that is brought up by the movie. When is it correct to do this with a judge. And I'm going to make the argument it is not
At all.
unless they are actively threatening your family, standing at your door about to do something that is immoral, illicit, and horrible. Like, but to go and kidnap someone and drug him, by the way, that's why he was very docile, to drug him and drag him out there and then off him, that is not something that you can ever believe. But again, it is an anti-hero movie. What I would say, though, is here are the stats, and here's where this movie really does come in. Cut number 11, Mr. Producer. Public perception of neighborhood safety. You can see France, 19.4% of citizens are reporting crime or violence or vandalism in their area in 2023. Look at the one that isn't. Poland, 2.8%. What does Poland not allow?
Muslims, they don't allow.
They don't allow Islamic migration.
Yep.
Huh. Thank you, Mr. Producer. Huh. It's almost like that's valuable. Let's go to cut number 12, Mr. Producer. Look at the foreign-born population, 2012 to 2013. Look at what's not going up all that much. Poland. Until recently, they did have a spike in 22. But you look at Germany is the orange, Sweden is the yellow, Belgium and France, you see the steady increase in foreign-born population as they grow. This is the anxiety that the movie is addressing. Cut number 13, Mr. Producer.
What's the ones at the very bottom?
Poland. Poland. Okay, real quick, go back, Mr. Producer, because Steve is wanting to ask. Poland, Hungary, Czech Republic, and Romania.
Oh, okay.
So, by the way, Czech Republic, very, very much not interested in Islam. Romania, very traditional. Hungary,
Right.
very much not interested in Islam. Okay, so those are the four. And the bottom is the blue, is Poland. So not at all interested. They don't want none. So, Mr. Producer, go ahead and go to the next one. Recorded cases of SA. Look at France. Look at Germany. Look at that trend line. It goes directly. It doesn't take a lot of migrants, by the way. It's not all of them. It's not. It only takes a few who were unvetted.
And that's what we're talking about.
Is that
Unvetted people.
flat one Poland?
That flat, well, the one that's going down is Poland. Because next cut, Mr. Producer, just one more. Robbery rates have been going down across the board, except for Belgium. And there's a few reasons for that. It's a statistical outlier. But you look at Hungary, Czech Republic, Romania, Poland, those are all at the bottom. Everywhere else is going down. Europe, on the whole, has been getting safer. Except for this one issue of, you let in people that you don't know who they are. Thank you, Mr. Producer. They subscribe to a religion that says that it's okay to do this thing, and then you see a lot of this thing that is abnormal in your country. It's almost like they told you that it was okay.
We're a religion of peace.
So I want to close this section, and I want to get to two more stories or three more stories real quick. But I want to close this section from a review perspective. Mr. Producer, go ahead and throw up cut number 15. What is our review? 5 out of 10. I think that's highly generous because I think the content is important. But over 10 minutes of brothel scene, over 10 minutes of B-roll, dude, I appreciate the premise. I appreciate the desire to make a good cultural commentary. Cannot recommend to families. It is nihilistic. And there were some fun action moments that were fun. But I think 5 out of 10 is dramatically high, and that's because it did need to be said. The message had to be brought, but could we actually do it through art, and could we also leave out the 12-minute brothel scene? It was absolutely over the top.
Rottweiler, I think you nailed it. Harsh penalties for politicians and judges who
violate.
violate their oath of office would go a long way in restoring justice under the law. I totally agree with that.
Totally agree.
Can I just say this too? I think in folks, I think there's many of you that probably would subscribe to, yes, we ought to have term limits. Can I say this? I totally agree with that. We should, but we don't at the moment. But you and I can enforce term limits.
with your vote.
And you do it in a primary.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
You do it in a primary.
Yes.
When you get to the general election, you're going to make the best decision that you can. But if you want to primary somebody out, you do it
in the
in
primary.
the primary.
And
John Cornyn did not vote for him. I don't want him in there.
Yep.
Primary him out. Does that leave the Republican Party in a tough spot? Well, in Texas, they're saying no, but I'll be honest with you. As a voter, it makes me uneasy. But let me also say this. I can live with that.
yep,
I'm okay with it. I will take that risk, but you and I
hold them accountable.
hold them accountable. We can do it.
In America, we have that. In France, they don't. In Germany, they don't. Not in the same level. They are doing some, but they have a parliamentarian system where you can have someone like Trudeau get 30% of the vote in Canada, as he did, and still end up winning. And they have that in both the EU and in the UK multiple times. There have been significant pluralities that want this stopped, and they cannot get it passed because of the parliamentarian system. So if you hate the two-party system, you would hate the parliamentarian system even more.
You know, it's interesting, and it just goes into what we're about to celebrate in a couple of days. 250 years that this country has been beautifully made. Yeah, I know it's some crazy history. For me saying that, that's, for the viewers out there, it's kind of diabolical that I'm saying it. But hear me out. When the forefathers were creating this Constitution and all these little types of things, especially with the voting system and all those things, they essentially did avoid the parliamentary system where they didn't want this rigged elections to occur, because that would create the chaos that we see right now in the UK and other places that run that by that. So the fact that we are a democracy of a republic, that is, right?
Democratic Republic, yeah.
Democratic Republic, we have that ability to vote people in, vote people out, especially when we're the ones that's, we're paying them to do the services on our behalf. You know what I mean? These supposed to be the experts, right? And I'm doing this quotation because as soon as they get in office, it's like they just go quiet, they go silent. You don't hear nothing about them. You don't hear no notifications from them. It's not like they pop up on your phone and be like, hey, he's doing this today. Like, no. So, so the thing is that, okay, so what do you do now? If nothing's getting done, especially in your district, what do? You vote them out. I mean, you've seen what the Israelites did back then, when they needed a true king to be in office or to be in that position, that person was not liked. Just do your research. David wasn't liked, but was he needed? Absolutely. Everybody liked King Saul. Why? Because he was tall and handsome. And what happens when you get them type of individuals in office? You get Justin Trudeau and all these other crazy folks, even the guy from the West Coast, Gavin Gruesome. I said it, Gavin Gruesome, because he is gruesome indeed with the laws he's pushing. So when you get all these individuals in there because you want to vote based on looks and not based on policies and on your morals, that you have the convictions from God or whoever you believe in, you get the chaos that you get.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And speaking of chaos, this movie was Uwe Boll's response to the chaos in Germany. And it's still going on today. And that brings us to our next cut. It is, if you have kids in the room, this is not the episode for it. Go ahead and pull it out. We did get us, go ahead. We did get a censored version of this. This is on a beach in France. And that's a small little 4-year-old or so girl. And if you can't tell what that guy's doing, he's signaling intent. And he is having fun while looking at a small child.
Now, see, if a man went after that, if the father went after that guy, yeah,
He would be in trouble with France. Someone finally did. There were 4 or 5 guys that said, "Wait a minute, you got to stop that." The guy goes, "Well, F you," and so they started to put the beat down on him. Before they could even start, some stupid French white lady gets in the middle of it. It's like, you know what, woman? That guy was just signaling intent about a small child.
right.
No. Oh, he doesn't know.
yes,
He's
he does.
about to. He's about to, sweetheart. He's about to know. step aside and let him find out, because you don't do that in a civilized nation.
Yeah, you mess around, you find out.
You mess around, you find out.
That's right.
And I'm sorry. I'm
You
sorry.
don't do that sort of thing in
Public.
that type of public situation in front of women and children.
It's not acceptable.
That is
Period.
not an acceptable type of activity to be done. And when you do that and there are men around, you are going to get shown that that is not an acceptable thing to do.
You need to know that it's not going to end well for you.
Men
You
are going to
don't-
prove it to you.
You don't get to do that, and that's something
him.
that it's sad, because we have emasculated the culture, we have effeminated the culture to the point where that is acceptable. It is allowed. It is something that we're okay with. We consider it an acceptable loss for the experiment of liberalism, and that's something that that has to end.
I'm going to be real politically incorrect here. Okay,
expect nothing
get
less.
ready.
I've been born.
One
ready
of the
to, Steve.
problems we have with men is we have too many single moms raising boys.
Yes, sir.
Uh-oh.
Yes, sir.
It's a direct breakdown of the family structure.
I'm just saying it is
Women's lib.
because what happens is,
Yep.
okay,
Yeah.
the men are not in the home
They're not held to
like they
account.
should be, and the boys are not being taught
Correct.
male things and like boys should be being taught
And that's
Correct.
and
on a
that's not-
consistent
Right,
basis.
and that's not trying to say that every home that way, because there's a lot of times that single moms have
We're not
other
casting-
men.
that's right.
It's
Correct.
not-
I agree.
It's a
or,
matter.
or a father is still very much involved in the life of his children. and
Right.
There
children.
are moms out there who really, I'll just go find a guy, get my child.
it's glorified.
and get him out of the way.
Okay, I will tell-
glorified.
That's wrong.
It's glorified.
Let
It's
me
what-
tell you this little story real quick. Well, I got a phone call from a mother. Okay, our sons were 7 years old.
Okay.
The mother was calling me because my son had said that her son's ears were too big and it hurt his feelings. And I'm thinking, my husband made a statement that when it comes to the boys, you will not take phone calls from other mothers. You will have that father call me and we will deal with it. We are not letting women talk about that kind of, that was the
Yes.
issue. He's
Yeah,
like,
that's how it should be.
and I told her, I said, well, I'm very sorry about that, but my son did not get disciplined for saying your son's ears were too big. You know, that's the kind of stuff that you're talking about. You're raising a young
You're raising a
boy.
wimp.
a sissy.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
And unfortunately, we've sissified the culture. What other family dynamic is
wah,
glorified
wah.
in this way? That's an unnatural one, where it's glorified to be a single mom. Think about that for a moment. We
Yep.
glorify
Oh, my
single
God.
motherhood.
We do.
And in many cases, it's preventable. Not all. That's not what we're saying. But in so many cases, it is preventable.
So here's my question then. Or as a society, are we moving it? Because if you take the UK and what's going on over there, Sweden and all that, do you think that they're moving into a society that's going to be almost reprobate? Where
Well, it's headed that way, and that's
Yeah.
why we actually left. That's why the Pilgrims in 1620 left in the first place, is they were like, "Ooh, these loose Danish women." It wasn't actually the persecution by the because they were already doing very, very loose stuff with the clothes, and in some of these countries, you basically have public showers that are all nude. That's been the case the whole time. They've been headed that way. They can only live that way on the
can't-
basis of a Christian
you
moral
can't-
society.
You can't say they didn't leave for they didn't have the ability to practice their religion.
The
Pilgrims.
Pilgrims, yeah, they had every ability in Denmark. Yes,
But they found that the Denmark culture was coming into their culture, and they did not like
correct,
that.
and that's what I'm saying. It wasn't the British. So some people frame it as though it was persecution from Great Britain. They left for Denmark, and they found that solace where they could be free to do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
In Denmark, they left because they said, "Ooh, this is reprobate." We're gonna peace out and go over there. And unfortunately, what we're seeing is the old world is getting worse. And this next clip is one more piece of that. The issue with migrants, it is not stopped in 2016. It is ongoing. It is current. We have 250,000 cases in the UK alone, just to speak to that. And then we have 12,000 arrests, 250,000 cases that have not been prosecuted or prosecuted well or properly.
Swept under the rug.
And then swept under the rug. 12,000 cases of mean social media use, primarily against the migrants who are overwhelmingly responsible for that 250,000 number. And then here's the case of Luis. I want you to watch what happens when Luis is walking. He doesn't know how to fight, apparently. He doesn't know to run. And this is what happens to your average French boy when attacked by 5 migrants. This is graphic, by the way. We can't show the whole video. We cut it early here. But unfortunately, what ultimately happens to Luis is after being stomped in the head many, many, many times, Luis never got up. This is just another Henry Novak.
Yeah.
But this happens all the time in the UK and in the European Union, over and over and over again. This is something that needs to be fixed. This is something that needs to be fixed, and it's because there is something wrong with their society. Case in point, last one before we move on to a much more uplifting topic. Last one, save the worst for last. Go ahead and throw up that last clip, Mr. Producer. In the EU, there is a asylum seeker who took 5 goats.
Do you want justice?
Took 5 goats, and one of them died. By the way, this was in an educational preserve.
Oh, wow.
5 goats.
And
he's given 2 years and then mental therapy instead of being, I don't know, put to death.
Institutionalized.
No.
for life?
I'm sorry. 5 goats. And by the way, he went on to say, "I'm a normal person."
ain't no
Maybe in Islamabad, whatever the heck you came from, wherever that's from, maybe that's normal where you came from, son.
Maybe like send him back home.
I think the wood chipper's fine here. Like I'm sorry, I'm tired of it. I don't want.
Send him home.
That's the nicest thing that we can do. But we're called racist and horrible for saying send them home. Look, we're bringing
Call
these
me
people
racist.
unvetted.
Send him home.
He was caught. And by the way, the whole herd is disturbed by this. Like, they won't talk to humans. This is at an educational facility.
What do you think, Charlie?
I'm looking up the verses in Leviticus.
This is something.
Send him home.
This week, after researching all this, reading all of this, seeing all of this, I am more on the evil God of the Old Testament side than I ever have been.
Oh, yeah.
God said you don't allow this stuff to occur.
You know what's interesting? And I asked a couple of Muslims because they end up going to my gym or whatever the case may be. And this was like maybe a couple of years ago. And I asked them, I said, will you be better off living underneath Sharia law or underneath Moses' law? And so, or the Mosaic law, I should say. And they surprisingly told me that they would rather live underneath the Mosaic law than Sharia law. Because it doesn't even grant them any, how should I say, it doesn't even grant them any freedom. It takes away freedoms from
Sharia?
people.
Yeah, Sharia takes away all of your freedom, and it takes away specifically women's freedom.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, people want to caricaturize the Mosaic law. Mosaic law liberated women in a way that had never been done until that day.
Yeah.
So Steve was saying, send them home. I'm not sure you need to do that. Leviticus 20, verses 15 and 16. And if a man lie with a beast, he shall surely be put to death.
There you go.
And ye shall slay the beast. Mm-hmm. And if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast.
You've heard the
They
term.
shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
Sorry. You've heard the term, she's for the streets, he's for the wood chipper. I'm just saying.
Put them both down.
That's it.
Put them both
There you
down.
go.
Put them down. So
And
in that
there's a reason
instance,
for that.
There you
5 goats and 1 guy.
Like
Put him down.
there's no reason for
5
that.
goats and the lamb.
He's going to be back in the general population in 2.5 years, and he said he did it so that his words, at least I'm not doing it to women.
Hey, yo.
Well,
So his words, I'm serious. I'm serious.
what?
Flag on the play.
When did we just say we're done?
That's a red flag in itself.
Yeah, no, that
flag.
is a that is a I don't know.
Man.
That is a whole spool of red material from the flag making factory dropped down your face, shoved down your throat. If you didn't figure it out,
More red in this flag.
this guy doesn't deserve to breathe oxygen.
My gosh.
And they do it over and over and over again, and they're allowed freedom because of the liberal experiment. Why? Because they want votes. Because the politicians want votes. They want more votes, and they want to break.
The one thing that we as Christians should not lose sight of, and we just covered this in one of our Bible studies, we were talking about the issue of why did God kill so many in the Old Testament?
It's a good
speak
thing he
on it.
did.
Yeah.
Big on it.
Because
When
they
you
did
look-
this.
Yeah. And when you look at what Satan is trying to do, he is trying to use sex as a means of destroying mankind.
Yep.
Correct. And you look at it, the idea of first cousin marriage still being allowed, it within 5 generations, you'll go from an average of 100 IQ. I believe someone did the calculation down to 70.
50.
Yeah,
No, 50.
70.
It's been lowered. It's like 50.
So it goes down fast. From 100, it's 5 generations. It's low. It's fast. You see an immediate decrease, and that's 100-year cycle. You will see idiocracy in front of you through inbreeding. Not to even talk about the untold suffering from the genetic abnormalities, and that's a culture that believes in that, and that believes that that's okay, and that's a good thing. I don't want any part of that culture. I don't want to. Not all cultures are created equal. All people are.
Just modeling after their great prophet Muhammad. That's all they're doing.
I mean, he was nice enough to wait until she was 9. I'm sorry. Peace be upon him. The prophet waited until she was 9.
Police be upon them.
Yeah, police be upon him.
There you go.
A salami lick 'em. I mean, I'm done with it. I'm tired of it. I don't want it anymore, and you shouldn't either. Again, Reed Cheeks, better a goat than a little kid. Just saying, I would say this, better neither.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Better neither. I appreciate that.
That's even-
Shadow artist, men don't mind ruling over women. Bring on Sharia vote for it, ladies. LOL, LOL. Tongue in cheek.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's what's going to happen, and they don't realize it.
correct. So with that said, I think a guy who rapes a bunch of goats at a petting zoo should be put to death. Hot take of the week. Maybe we should go ahead and move forward with that in mind. Any final thoughts before we move into something much lighter, Miss Nikki? I'm going to give you the floor. This has been a dark start to the week.
It is dark. One of the things I will say about the man who produced the movie,
Hold up.
I would take this as, shape up now, or this may be the future.
Yeah.
That's how
agree.
I would take the movie.
I agree, and I think it's 100% correct. I think it's 100% correct. All right, Steve. One last read. Read AOC's comment, and then we're getting to Nikki. Go.
I'm sorry, it just busted me open.
Gives
AOC gives men who stare at goats a new meaning.
Oh.
I'm sorry, that just tore me up when I saw that.
I'm missing the reference. I don't need it. I want some Nikki knows facts. Hit the button.
You never see that shit.
Robber. No camels are allowed on the highways in Nevada. He has a hacksaw. This is not a mannequin. This is a human corpse.
I'm going to have that memorized in my head at night.
It's gonna roll.
It's going to be awful.
And you like that piano roll? You were here for the Ballad of Elmer McCurdy,
No.
where in
That
fact
was
his
an
Balmer did him
incredible
real
show.
dirty.
Incredible show.
She had a whole thing written out. It was great. Anyway.
It was
Yes.
good.
Okay.
Okay, something on to light. Well, I think it's not going to be lighter, but anyway.
No, it's going to be lighter than that, but go ahead. Even Clinton is lighter than this. Even Bill Clinton is lighter
All right.
than
I
this.
don't know.
We have been talking
it
about
is.
the last 250 years of America, and we have reached 1993, and we're going to travel to 2009. And I don't think this is. We're going to the Clinton presidency, and everybody knows what's the
Lord.
first thing
Oh,
you're going to
my
think about, right? But anyway, let's talk about President Clinton. Darlin, do you want to say anything about NAFTA? Because I remember.
Oh, That was one of the
That's-
first things that I wrote a long letter about to the president.
Really?
And I said,
Yeah, he
yes.
was very
I was
upset
very
about that.
young, and I knew I could see it, I could feel it, that NAFTA was going to be a very bad thing for America. And guess what? Ding, 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 ding. I hit it.
How young
right.
were you?
Well, anyway,
I was
1993,
let's
in
see,
your 20s,
yeah, early 20s.
28.
Oh.
28. So here's a positive thing. The federal budget achieved a surplus. Probably one and only, but
And
there's,
anybody want to guess who was in control of Congress?
was it the Republican?
Republicans.
There you go.
Wow. Okay. NATO expanded eastward. I'm not sure that's a good thing either, but anyway. Here's the thing that when everybody say Clinton, here's the big thing that comes in. He survived an impeachment. He did survive it. I'm not sure he should have.
No.
For sexual misconduct in the White House.
it broke the whole purpose and intent and meaning of an impeachment. And so when it came along to Trump, it just didn't matter anymore.
That's a true thing.
And I
they
think
still call
that's
him a felon.
yeah.
He did serve two
Crazy.
terms from 1993 to 2001. They said when he left office he had strong approval ratings. I'm going to question that because Democrat did not win the next presidency. I think if he had strong approval ratings, I think it would have
Was it
helped.
because he got ahead in life? Oh, my bad. I'm sorry, bro.
Wow. Okay.
The one
Okay.
thing though that
It's a nice show.
I would
After everything we
tend
just
to
talked about.
agree with that sentiment that he didn't really have a strong approval rating after that. And quite frankly, if it hadn't have been for the fact that a lot of people had played the tax thing on George H.W. Bush, he would have been president for 8 years.
Yes. If anybody remembers that debate with George H.W. Bush, Clinton, and the third, there was a third person there.
Ross
George-
Perot.
Yeah, George Bush did not do well in that debate at all.
Ross Perot split the vote and broke the back of
that's-
the
that's
Republican
exactly
Party
right.
for a decade.
Yes, he did. He did.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on next.
And then he disappeared. Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sorry. Anyway, continue.
What's going to happen now in the 90s is the rise of the internet. I remember the first time I was at my girlfriend's house and she was talking to her brother who lived in a different state by email. And that was my first introduction to it. It was during this time. But the rise of the internet, most of us have internet today. We do online shopping. I send emails constantly at work. I get emails constantly. We have search engines. We have business websites. We have church websites.
Amazon.
We have Amazon. Yay! So it did reshape our industry. Now here's the. I've never completely understood this one. My son-in-law tried to explain it to me last week. The .com boom and bust. Remember that?
Yeah, so
.com?
you've got a lot of people that were racing to get their websites because they saw it as a means of being able to put businesses literally on the internet.
Yep.
And there was a lot of investing of money into that and people saying, we can make this happen, we can make this happen, we can make this happen. And unfortunately, you couldn't make it all happen. Now, today, it has been so successful that they've had to go to a lot of different extensions outside of .com. Now you've got .ai and you've got .co and we could go on.
Store, media,
Yeah.
etc.
So the .com boost was hyperinflated, if I could word it that way.
Kind of like AI right now.
That's exactly
that's
right.
exactly
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
Well, that's what my son-in-law was saying is that people are rushing to AI and it may end up turning like the .com.
It'll pop, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
if you ride the pop, it will end up being bigger and better than ever. Not going to say your current stock is a good idea. I don't know.
Correct. I
long-
would
how-
totally agree with that.
How long y'all think that fad's gonna last, though?
AI? AI is
Oh,
like
that's-
.com. It's here to stay.
It's staying.
It's going to evolve through multiple iterations. It's going to die, and then it's going to be reborn into something new. Kind of like the .com. It didn't die all the way, but it had a shift in settlement.
But you know, and I want to bring this interview up again, Diary of a CEO, the interview with John Lennox, the beginning of it, talked about the AGI
Yeah.
of AI. And John Lennox is very concerned about that. Now, John Lennox is at the end of his life. It's not going to affect him, but he can see the dangers of it. And I totally agree with him on it. There are some dangerous aspects of AI that really need to be dealt with, and our governments are not doing it.
All right, next slide. Have you been going along? I've been paying attention. There you go. Okay, the next one we just did.
Oh, no. Hold on to that. What's the red line there?
I can't. I didn't have it on my paper.
Can you read that?
So here, let me pull it up here. Okay, innovation companies versus non-innovation companies, Silicon Valley Growth Index. So you're looking at that 99 over the 2000 hump is where you have that pop on newly innovating companies.
And look what it did. It goes to the peak, bang, you got the bust, comes down, and guess what it's doing now?
Going back
It's
up.
already gone up and above where it was before.
Is Bob Luster on that blue line then?
There you go. But the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Absolutely. That's right.
All right, moving on to the
Sorry,
next
Barbara.
slide. We all know who this person is. Windows 95, Microsoft, and the PC revolution. By the way, I was talking to Charlie about this morning. I use Microsoft every single day at work, at home. I mean, it's just really for everybody. I mean, everybody's using it. So it is a big revolution. Customers, if you we host customers on the cloud, their servers and stuff. They all want Windows. They want or Microsoft. They want that. So that's a big thing. And our Mr. Bill Gates there, he's an interesting character. We could talk about him, but
Oh yeah.
we will move on. But Microsoft made him. Is he a billionaire?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh,
big
yeah.
time.
He's a bit.
Oh yeah. He was one of the
He's
first.
up there.
Okay.
Him and Oprah Wimpy.
You don't have that Elon Musk money though.
No, he does not. All right.
You what?
Here
Elon Musk
is
money.
a big
He's a
tragedy
billionaire.
that we suffered in the United States. 9/11. Everybody remembers 9/11. I was watching it when on TV when one of the towers fell.
Yep.
We had 4 airlines that were hijacked. 2 of them flew into the Twin Towers. The Pentagon was attacked. Nearly 3,000 people died that day. And our president was George W. Bush. I do really appreciate his response to this. He really did well when it came to 9/11.
And I appreciate it, and I wished, but I don't know to what degree, but Bill Clinton actually acknowledged that he screwed up. He knew he should have taken out Osama bin Laden before he left office, and
So
I wish he
sometimes,
had done it.
all right, no, think about something. We have sat back on Iran for years and years and years, and they keep wanting a nuclear weapon, and they keep calling us the Great Satan, and they want to destroy us. And nobody wants a foot war. Nobody wants that. I don't want it. Nobody wants it. But I do want to take Iran out. I hope President.
At least neuter them.
I
the
really,
purpose.
really do. I hope they do. But anyway, so 9/11, we have the airport security changed forever.
Yep. I miss those pre 9/11.
By the
days.
way,
Hello?
It was so nice.
Yes,
within
it
a-
was.
We didn't know what we had.
Yep.
within 1 week, me, Charlie, and our kids had to fly from Florida
I'm so
back to
sorry.
Texas.
It was
and
awful.
there was nobody on the plane.
It was a matter of fact,
Nobody.
the flight, it was, TWA was still flying at that time. It was the only flight
a
we could
callback.
get. No, yeah, and Nikki and I and the kids were on that flight. I don't think there were probably 4 or 5 other people on that plane. And we spent a lot of time talking to the flight attendants during that.
Oh yeah, and she said that there were people, flight attendants and that just never showed up.
It was a really strange flight.
They were terrified. They were terrified. But so the war on terror began, and this event did change America permanently. I think it's terrible. I'm sorry. This is going to sound a little not nice on my part, but you have 9/11, and now you have New York City controlled by what they're being
Muslims.
controlled by, and it's terrible.
Like
it's
so,
just
it's
terrible.
It's an act of dominance.
Yes,
It's an act
it
of
is.
dominance.
All right,
Exactly
next
what it
one.
is.
We
And
already
it's
talked
being
about George
perpetrated
W.
by our
Bush.
government.
He did
Carried
lead
all the way through. But anyway, continue on.
Yes, he led the war on terror, the Patriot Act, which a lot of people
Boo!
didn't like at the time.
I don't care for it.
No, it's the worst thing. Bush is one of the most destructive presidents in our. I'm sorry. He was very, very destructive. He was terrible.
Facts.
He created
He
the
did some good things, but very, very few. Sorry, continue. on.
Department of Homeland Security. The Iraqi war. I remember when that started, when he went after Saddam Hussein, that they felt like a lot of people were like saying, well, his father didn't finish it during his term, so George W. Bush will.
Yeah, shout out to my dad.
But
Yeah.
you know,
He was in that.
this is where you have an appreciation for the likes of a Rand Paul. He was not for that Patriot Act. He
Yeah.
knew,
No,
he knew
and
what it was going to do.
and we really should have held them to better account. But of course, that was all part of the motion and movement. And 9/11 was whether it's an inside job or not. I'm sorry, there's just too many things. My dad was on the phone with people who were in the towers, and they heard multiple explosions. But I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole.
Oh yeah.
But whatever did or didn't cause, because there's differences of opinion on this panel, it was definitely leveraged to do some of the worst things, and Bush was behind all of that. At least spearheading it at the bare minimum, if you give him the best benefit of the doubt. It's a very, very sad presidency.
Yep. Yep.
So we started the Iraqi war, which is next. Go to the next one there. And this is where Saddam Hussein was removed. By the way, I believe he was hung, was he not?
He was.
Yep.
and
He was
decapitated.
Yeah.
And, you know, the Iraqi people are better off today than they were back then. They have a different type of freedom than they did back then. However, we did put a lot of troops on the ground. Nobody likes that war. That was where your brother went. Did he not, Charlie?
Say again?
Your brother signed up when
Yes,
he
he was. He was actually over in Afghanistan.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
dad was actually over there too.
was he?
My youngest stepson was over there too.
My brother-in-law was
For
in
16 months.
his 30s, and he only had a limited time if he was going to sign up to go.
Oh.
He had a limited time, and he left his job, left his wife and kids. Not left them, like, you know, they all talked about it, and he decided he wanted to go and serve over there.
Okay.
And he served as, I believe they call them the CBs, where, you know, he works with heavy equipment and things like that.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
he did.
Nice.
And so he went over there and he did that. And I'm very proud of him for that. But anyway, that was the Iraqi war. Now, go to the next one. This term of time seems to be a lot of tragic things. Hurricane Katrina, 2005. This was just devastating. And Charlie and I, the church that we were going to at the time, opened up their doors, and we were like a Red Cross. We took in a lot of people at that time to help them out. It was hard. It was very hard for those people. I mean, a lot of them never went back.
Yeah.
Never went back.
Yeah.
You know, there was a family there that they were still waiting for the mother to come. They had been rescued all at the same time, but they were taken on different helicopters and taken to different places. And so the family there was waiting to find out where the mother was, that we were at the same place that we were at. So it was a deadly hurricane. Charlie did a lot of work with people during that time. There was a lot of help that he went out and volunteered and he worked. But that was a really destructive hurricane, and it very much impacted the United States.
Yeah, my family actually on my dad's side, they most of them are in New Orleans. So when that took place, like it's crazy because they left like a week before all that took place. So they just got on ship and was just like, okay, Houston, here we go. And then somebody stayed, took a picture of their house. You couldn't even find the house.
I believe.
That's how
Yeah.
deep that was. I was like, wow.
I'm glad your family got out early.
Yeah, because they was like, we're not going through this.
So
'Cause-
whether
Good.
anomalies aside, whether they're done by the government or by 500-year storms, whatever the cause of it, there was a level of incompetence, unfortunately, on the part of the local state government and city government that would have absolutely prevented the levees from breaking.
I ain't gonna lie, like that is what made me dislike Bush so much. I know I was a kid then and everything like that, but it just made me dislike Bush so much because of that. It's like you supposed to know about it. Like you supposed to know.
He took a lot of heat for that.
He
You know
did
what I
take a
mean?
lot of heat for it.
And you didn't sound the alarm. That's bad.
Well,
Well-
as much as so this is one thing I'll say about that. I don't disagree with the comments about Bush on that. What I will also say is that you had some horrible government leadership in New Orleans.
Oh, facts. It's
I mean,
corrupt.
That's
It's
the
corrupt.
issue.
Oh, it's
That
corrupt.
so
That's
the
the issue. The
combination.
security. So there were security concerns about what actually happened at the levee, right? And then there was the actual levee building itself and the poor management of it that would have prevented a significant amount of the damage.
And they purposely open.
Yeah, correct. There's a lot of incompetence on the local level that should never have happened.
Yep.
I mean, it's
And-
the Mississippi River for crying out loud.
And people are not held. Yeah.
And Shadow Artist has got another point too. Those levees in New Orleans were really bad, and they were.
And there are reports of explosives being, of large booms,
Whoa.
right? And people say that there were explosives. I don't think the public was ever properly satiated. I don't think the investigations were ever properly done, and whatever was brought forth, there were questions about, right? So people still think about Katrina to this day as a sign of at least malicious negligence at minimum.
Charlie and I travel, and there's a bridge in Louisiana that he refuses to go after because it has been determined that bridge is faulty, and nobody is doing anything about it. And this is the point. If you know there's a problem, there's going to be a lot of money involved to fix the problem, and you keep putting it on the back burner, and you
But it's almost like it was kind of designed. You have all these things that they allow. It's like malicious incompetence to see what people will put up with, and then what people will do, and how much control you
Los
can take
Angeles
over.
fires,
So I don't know if it's a planned conspiracy or if it's a matter of we just don't care, and then we're going to maliciously, negligently withhold to see what you guys do. Could we do stuff in the future? Don't know. It's hard to say exactly.
It leaves you with questions.
But any sane person should be questioning.
Yes. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Okay, social media. Nope. Did I get it wrong? Social media, there we go. And does anybody here have a MySpace? I never had a MySpace.
I had MySpace.
You
never
had
had
I had it for a
MySpace?
My
short
best
time.
friend.
Yeah. I got Facebook.
Shout out to Tom.
But I didn't get Facebook until many years later. And the reason I got it is because my kids kept talking about family members and this happening and that happening. And I thought,
Missing out on all of it.
so I have Facebook to keep up with family and stuff. But you got to be really careful with social media. We have Facebook, we have a YouTube. Hey, online, internet. The reason we're here today is because of that.
Yeah.
We have business marketing, rapid news sharing. However, that's true, but some of it's not news. Some of it's false information.
A lot
that
of it is.
gets, on the
Yeah.
information highway. And how do you decide?
Primary sources, people, primary sources. It comes to biblical literacy too. Look for primary sources.
In the words of Josh, how you gonna fact check the fact checkers that fact check the
Fact checkers. It transformed American culture, but it transformed everybody's culture because it's pretty much everywhere.
Enemy of the State. He heard me quoting that one time, and then he started quoting it over and over again. Enemy of the State with Will Smith and Gene Hackman. Basically a documentary. But anyway, continue.
Let's go on to the next one. Here's the financial crisis and the Great Recession in 2007 through 2009. I want to tell you this. Charlie and I bought a house during this time. And financially, we were in a really good place. But I want to tell you the story. When we were buying our house, the people, we were having a house built in a subdivision. They were letting us know that your mortgage payment could be 50% of your income as long as you didn't have any other debt. And Charlie and I walked away from that and we went, that is crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That
It's
is
a recipe
crazy.
for going under.
It used to be when Charlie and I first got married, your mortgage payment could not be more than 25% of your income.
Sounds reasonable.
And then it went up to 30. And I know that when we bought our house, it was at 25% of our income. So when we got our house, it was fine. But there was some people down the neighborhood that we were in went through a lot of foreclosures. The one neighbors, a couple down the road from us, their mortgage payment was $1,800 a month and their income was $3,600 before taxes. You cannot survive that.
Yeah. I'm like,
So they created this bubble and it blew up and all these people lost their homes. They really couldn't afford it. Go ahead. What do you have to say?
Yeah, because my thing is like that's the only thing I get confused is the financial crisis. I don't know if it started like in 2008, 2007, and then it's like the shift blank.
It was
It's-
set up
put it
before
on.
that.
It was long before. It was set up in the early 2000 aughts because they were setting
Okay.
up a subprime crisis where they were
Yes.
going to build all of these people, and it was all very intentional. The biggest issue is we insured people who could not pay their mortgage with the government dime, and then we bailed out the companies that ultimately were going to have to take the default for the bad loans. So the taxpayer, it was one of the largest wealth transfers. And,
Should have
and-
been allowed to fail.
well, it was never intended to be allowed to fail.
That's true.
It was orchestrated to fail and be a payout. And that's the reason why we have the housing issue that we do right now. Two things. A,
even have an automotive,
massive migration.
yeah.
But B, in 2017, Liz Warren said, oh, well, BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street are too big to fail. We can't let them fail.
Oh, the fake Indian.
Yeah, we
But they
can.
purchased, but yeah, exactly. The Pocahontas basically was going out to bail out her buddies because they had purchased so many of American single-family homes that they were upside down. And instead of allowing the entire retirement industry to be sold off, resettled, and restructured,
Right.
they're too big to fail. We'll buy them out, and so we bailed them out, and the American taxpayer effectively made our own housing cost 2 to 3 times what it should have pre-COVID. Now we're living in post-COVID prices.
Yeah.
So the reason why it's all inflated is because we're bailing out these large companies, and it's largely the Democratic Party that's doing it while screaming affordability crisis.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, no, that's the end of our thing for this week. We have one more week. We're gonna end in 2026 next week, and that'll be our 250 years of American history.
You like
All
the
right.
shirts?
Yeah,
I
we
like
went and-
the shirts.
We went and got this.
Miss Nikki got on
Like
the
shirts.
internet.
Then some fly shirts.
We're
Nice shirt.
we're
Literally.
celebrities today.
It's time for some shenanigans with Steve, I
Ooh,
think.
yes.
Yeah.
Go shoot me a buffalo.
Nope.
This one,
Out
Charlie.
of my garbage can. I'll keep it to myself.
Yeah. Came in.
See that title?
You got to watch what
Yep.
you say, Steve. You'll get clipped.
You get
Uh-oh.
clipped.
Oh, my gosh.
Uh-oh.
All right, Steve.
All righty.
What are we doing?
You ready,
Ticks.
Captain?
He's ready.
We're getting rid of ticks.
All righty. We're going to do it God's way. Give me a title, Captain. And there be monsters in those woods. There be monsters. You bet. All right, now let's get started. Now, we're going to start off with Genesis 1:11.
Amen.
Then God said, let the earth bring forth vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and fruit trees, each bearing fruit with seed according to its kind. And it was so. Interesting. So, we're going to start with God's way of keeping ticks out of your yard. Isn't
Let's
that
do it.
amazing?
Let's
We're
do it.
going to do it God's way. So let's get started, folks. Because God said it
Bring
was
on.
good. So bring on the plants.
What's the
Let's
first
do
one?
it. What's the first one, Captain? Look at that. Amazing.
Again.
Again, lemongrass. Now,
You having
wanna
fun over
point
there, Mr.
something
Producer?
else out.
Mr.
Do you
Hughes'
see?
enthusiasm is just
Point.
very
Put that one
entertaining.
back up for a second. I want to point something out. Right here. Now, look at this picture. You see how it's all the leaves are on the ground and laying on the ground. One thing about this, when you see this, what you want to do with this lemongrass is keep all of those leaves from being on the ground like that. You want to trim those so that they're not all laying on the ground, okay? You want to keep them trimmed so that all of that stays up off the ground. What that does is it keeps moisture on the ground, and the stuff that's on the ground, the ticks crawl up on, okay, and they do what is called questing. They stick their front legs out and they wait for stuff to come by. And questing is them just sitting there, waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, you don't want
Come by for them to attach to, and they grab a hold of it.
See,
That's all they do.
I thought it was a small child with toothpaste. I got to get my questing.
You would think
toothpaste.
so, huh? Their Quest.
My Quest toothpaste.
Yes, their Quest toothpaste.
Sorry.
Now,
I digress.
with questing, the way they detect you is through body heat
Yeah.
or the CO2 coming off your body is how they detect people or animals. Mm-hmm. Body heat or CO2 that comes off your body. And what they do is they crawl up on small plants. They don't crawl up high, maybe a foot or two. They get out on the edges. They stick their front legs out and just stand there and wait. And they just wait and wait. And that's all they do.
That's why I bring diesel with some, stuff in there in a can with, with a nice little lighter on the end, and I just take care of the field before I go out.
And you
and do
walk
it.
out there in front of you and just
So Dawn of the New Day 777 has a question. Do ticks really drop down on you from trees?
They
No.
can't. They can if
Well-
they're up that high.
well, ticks don't crawl that high.
Yeah, they'd have to light on something that lit up on the tree.
Well,
Highly
that's the
unlikely.
only way
what-
that it would happen.
What about the fly
Is
roaches?
if they're on an animal,
If they're on like a
and,
squirrel.
and an animal, if an animal crawls up that high and then they come off an animal and they were to fall off an animal,
It would be hard.
That would be the only way. But typically, ticks don't fall off when they attach to an animal. They just don't do it
typically
because
not.
they're looking for blood. And when they get on an animal, they crawl in through the hair and they attach because what they're looking for is
Red meat.
blood.
They want that
I-
red
They
meat.
want your blood.
I think
that's
half
what they
right.
want.
I think half right is fully right.
I want the
flamethrower.
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 Yep.
Yep.
Because
Cook
the
'em.
thing about ticks is that heat kills ticks. Okay. One way to get them off of you when you get home is you take a lint roller, just a lint roller, and you roll it over your clothes and you roll it over your skin, and it will take the baby ticks and the ticks off of you. And then you can take your clothes that you have, throw them in the dryer, not the washer, but the dryer. And the heat from the dryer will
Yeah.
kill the ticks. You put it on high heat,
Yep.
Yep.
and the heat from the dryer will kill the ticks.
If you're wanting to kill a tick, though, don't use the match when it's lit. It has to go out first.
Correct.
And you have to
just
get it
use
near
the head.
enough that they decide to get out. Because if you actually touch them with the head, they could vomit into you. So you want to
And-
get it close enough so that they just back out. Do not pull them with a pair of pliers. You're going to leave the mandible and all that crap in there, and you're going to have whatever
Infection
diseases,
and all that kind of good
Lyme's
stuff. Yeah.
disease if they carried it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Next one.
All right. Next one. Catnip.
Oh,
Interesting, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing about catnip is your cat is going to enjoy it also.
Brian doesn't have
Okay.
cats. He doesn't like them. So.
Now,
Oh, I do. I'm just allergic.
Oh, that's why.
I didn't really care too much for cats either.
I thought that
but
was an angry
cats
face. Was
seem
that a
to like
sneeze?
me a lot,
Did they?
and they just kind of like, since I've been at my mom's, they've kind of like been coming from all directions, and I just can't like kick
Get rid
them
of 'em.
away. So, but the thing about catnip is, I wrote this down, and it's kind of hard to pronounce. How do you say that? Nepatico.
Holy
Tycoon
cow.
tone.
me see that.
Nepatiacatone.
That is wild.
Just keep talking, Steve. I'll look it up.
But that's what's in catnip that keeps, it's a volatile terpene, okay? What that means is when the oil comes out of it, it evaporates and what it does is it gets into the air and keeps the ticks away. Is what it does. It's very
Nepetalactone. Nepetalactone.
okay.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yes.
Sure. Whatever you say.
It's a long word.
I'm not pronouncing it.
Nepetalatone.
What he said.
If they gave me
Yeah.
on a spelling bee, I failed
That's
miserably.
brutal.
See there?
What's the origin? Latin. Oh, dang.
It's a volatile.
Keep going.
It comes from catnip.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that is a volatile terpene, and what it does is when you're messing with it, or when cats are out there eating on it or rubbing on it and doing their little thing, all of that comes out into the air, and what it does is it keeps the ticks out, and all of that gets into the air, and it keeps ticks away.
You
but
missed.
the thing about catnip is it's very unmanageable. It's kind of like mint or peppermint when you plant it. It just like
Goes everywhere.
spreads. It spreads out a lot. Just runs and goes, and it's kind of unmanageable
Just let me
type
get
kind of
some-
stuff.
Maroon 9 has actually pointed something out, Steve. You really messed this up. You
What?
missed an incredible opportunity.
What's that?
You should have named this segment TikTok.
Oh my gosh.
Rottweiler has a great question. Do you have any tips for removing cats? Yes, we do. It's called dogs.
Yes.
Dogs, lots of dogs.
Depends on the dog. My dog would nurse cats.
I might have one.
Yes, you
Hang
will.
on.
You don't know my dog.
You don't have the right dog.
I had a good dog. No,
have one.
Rats or snakes, she would chew them up and spit them out. But if it, or, turtles, frogs, she'd kill them. But if it were like a cat, she'd take really good care of it.
They take care
Oh, really?
Yeah, she'd take really good care of it.
get the rest from New York.
You might be interested, and there's some things here that might keep cats away. So
I don't know of anything that'll keep a cat away. Honestly, I don't. I was having fun with that, and I didn't answer the question. So sorry, but I don't.
But
I don't.
I don't
have
know if
anything.
it'll keep them away, but it's liable to do something here if you hang on.
Steve will keep looking, but we got to get to the next one.
But the next one, sage.
Ooh,
How about that, Charlie?
I like it.
You like sage?
Listen, I'm convinced that I have not spent enough money at Lowe's. I'm convinced.
I am too.
I've got,
I mean,
got some other
lemongrass.
stuff here that you're going to enjoy too.
Sage.
Fujone is a ketone, okay? It's very repulsive to ticks. It gets out, it's very volatile. It gets out into the air, spreads out, and the ticks are they just don't like
They don't like
the
ketones?
terpenes. No, not at all.
So if I'm on the carnivore diet and I take a little piddle on it, it'll go away.
It just might.
I mean, you used to do that with
paddle.
bull nettle.
That's
Don't
gotta
look
be-
that way at me, Mr. Producer. We used to do that with bull nettle
But-
all the time.
Are we at 3:00 yet?
You keep going.
But the best type of plant of sage is the Bergorfen cultivar. Now, there's various types of sage, okay? And it's called the Bergorfen cultivar. It has the larger leaves, is what they call it. Okay? That's just about, I guess, if you know anything about sage. I don't know a whole lot about sage. I
thought this was your
Kinda
time
like
for sage
giving,
advice, some sage wisdom.
I was trying to give some sage advice, but it's kind of like not working out, I guess.
You've done little to assuage my fears here.
I'm
that we're wasting
working
our
on
time.
it.
All right,
I'm working
next
on
one.
it.
We're going.
I'm fixing to get a little wormy here, so
Next
you better
one.
watch out.
A little bit wormy.
Wormwood.
Looky there.
Look at
We're
that.
going to miss out on it because we've gone too
Look
long.
at
Now
There.
you understand why I said
Wormy.
Genesis 1:11, don't you?
There you go.
Yep.
Wormwood.
Wormwood.
That's good stuff.
Ticks also don't like the taste of wormwood. Now, how you say this, absinthium is produced,
Say it.
okay, from wormwood. It's the same thing that produces absinthe,
Yeah,
okay?
which is perfect. Keep away them bugs.
Yeah. And it's the same thing that produces that one alcohol that's
Yep.
produced, okay? That's not good. Okay. Now, when a tick gets on these plants, what it'll happen is it gets on them and it'll bite on them or feed on them a little bit, and the tick will fall to the ground.
Alive or dead?
Yeah.
Is this
Alive
Schrodinger's
dead.
tick?
He's got
Okay.
a point.
Pretty much.
This is a Schrick? It's a Schrodinger's tick?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it just
All right.
boom, falls to the ground and leaves.
Well, I'll take
Okay,
leaving.
what it does is it just causes it to fall off the plant, and then the tick will leave the area because of the type of the absence that is in the type of the material in the wormwood.
Are you saying it gets drunk off the wormwood?
Pretty much.
There
yeah.
you go. Okay.
Yeah, it gets kind of like drunk and like,
stuff.
and falls off.
Are we contributing
it's
to
like-
the delinquency of ticks here?
I guess so.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess that's what you would call it, but it still leaves.
So this is-
it's you're wanting it to
so
do.
this has
so
been-
you leave.
Hold on here.
So we'll go to the next.
No,
one.
wait.
wait, wait.
So this has been TikTok with sage advice for the absinthe of mind. That's from AOC. I love it.
There we go.
Wordsmith. You missed so many opportunities, Steve. You got to weave these
we're
in.
getting shenaniganly
AOC
sage advice.
and Maru 9 are just outpacing us today. You could have had so many.
Man, this is absolutely a great segment today. I'm getting such sage advice.
There you go. Next.
Man, this is good.
Next one.
Okay. Charlie's going to like this one.
All right.
Rosemary.
Rosemary. Charlie,
Yep. I'm ready to cook with it.
and make a hedge
Yep.
or a ledge.
Them reverse seared steaks.
Absolutely.
Now, Charlie, it is
pour the
the
roux over the
camphor, the limonene, the sinello, and the pinolene. They are so volatile terpenes that it is highly aromatic out, just by running into them, rubbing against them. It doesn't matter. They just put off this terpene that comes off of them. Rather just touching them, rubbing them, it doesn't matter what you do to them. They'll put it off. You just rub next to them, touch them, do whatever. This terpene comes off of them, and it works best when you have more than one bush.
Okay.
Okay, it's like when you have you a hedge or anything along is when it works the best.
So if the deer's not going to eat that.
Correct.
Okay. Because I'm thinking, ticks aren't deer. That's what a lot of times,
Right.
people say.
And deer
But-
carry ticks.
Right.
Big time.
So, and not only that, this stuff keeps rats away.
Oh,
And one of the things is one of the biggest carriers of ticks
Is
are rats.
rats?
okay. Okay.
One of the largest carriers
Yep.
are rats.
All right.
Fleas and ticks are what they thought to carry the plague.
Exactly. And they were carried by rats.
Which is why you don't do naughty things at Day of the Dead. That's why we had that issue in the mid-teens, and we had a return of the bubonic plague. It landed in Arizona, if memory serves. But
Right.
anyway,
By rats.
you don't do those things. You put one such as to death. But anyway, go ahead.
Yep, exactly. Next one, please, Captain.
Yep.
Oh, I knew it was coming.
Lavender.
I knew it was coming.
You knew it, huh?
Yep.
Lavender. Yes. Look at that. God is good all the time. Look at that. These things just keep coming up all the time. There's just something about it that they just keep coming up. Isn't that amazing?
Amazing.
The same ones over and over. There's just something about that.
Amazing.
God uses these things for special purposes. Linalool, eucalyptol are some of the most powerful terpenes that are used in the natural world to keep these types of critters away. And it's also used for other types of pests.
Yeah, I
To
love
keep
the
them away.
lavender. Love the lavender. If it were me, and I had a major piece of property to do this, it would be the lavender, the lemongrass, and I'd almost make probably the rosemary. Yeah.
So, moving on, please, Captain. Now, look at this. Chrysanthemums
Oh,
instead of marigolds.
Whoa. That's different.
Chrysanthemums. But
those are nice.
they also put out the same type of stuff as the marigolds, okay, which is a pyrethrin, which is the number one thing that is used in the commercial industry that they use for spraying for ticks and
Correct.
all bugs, that is made as a synthetic to kill bugs, which they use to kill ticks.
They distill it.
And it's made as a synthetic, but this puts it out naturally. And when it puts it out through the air and it kills ticks. Chrysanthemums kill ticks.
We like
That's
it.
cool.
We like those.
It actually kills ticks, believe it or not. But chrysanthemums can be toxic to cats and dogs, though. The only
There's
problem.
one way to get rid of cats.
See there?
That's diabolical.
Get your
That's-
chrysanthemums planted.
That's
Rottweiler, you got to
diabolical,
get your chrysanthemums planted.
though. All right.
But also,
bad.
lavender can be toxic to cats, too.
Guys, we're 5 to the hour.
Now
rapid fire.
I'm going to
You got
rapid
3.
fire this real quick,
Rapid fire
okay?
them all.
Now, for one thing, okay, here's some plants, 3 plants you need to get rid of. 3 plants that attract ticks. Pachysandra, which is a ground cover plant. That plant right there keeps moisture on your ground, and it keeps about the ground 80% moisture, okay? Ticks need about 80% moisture. Next one. Brush honeysuckle.
Wow.
That keeps low ground cover. Now, if you're going to have honeysuckle, you need to keep it cut up to about 2 to 3 foot off the ground so that you don't have low ground cover, so you don't have anything for the ticks to crawl up. There should be one of a Japanese bradberry, Captain.
Nope.
Nope.
No,
Nope. Nope. It's
no,
going to be
it's
40.
before
40.
the
40.
yep.
There you go.
Japanese barberry. This right here does the same thing. It attracts ticks. The thing is, it's the low cover from the branches, and the ticks crawl up on it, hang out, and quest from it. That is the things that'll attract ticks, and the ones before keep the ticks away. And that has been Steve Shenanigans for today.
We got 3 minutes. Popcorn, real fast. Final thoughts.
I would just say that the movie is probably not one I'm going to watch, but I would say to take into consideration that we really do need to be vetting our people that come into our country, and we need to hold those that are committing crimes to a high standard and to punish them and to send them back home.
30 seconds. Chauncey,
Um,
final thoughts.
those out there, just hide your goats.
Hide your kids. Hide your wives. Hide your goats.
That's all I gotta say. But
Need that sound effect, Mr. Producer.
hope y'all have a blessed one. Thank you guys for bringing me back on the podcast.
Dude, anytime. Glad to have you on. Glad you're
Yeah.
by.
Yep.
Steve.
Yes. About that movie, dude, that looks like something that probably people would be willing to do. It's not a godly thing, but it is definitely a worldly thing.
We need to be really, really aware that if we don't fix our political order and structure, that sort of thing is right around the corner.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Mr. Charlie.
It's just been a wonderful show. Appreciate all of our listeners and viewers, and been good.
Mr. Producer.
I got nothing today.
You got nothing today?
I got nothing.
That's rare. You got
Just a
nothing
good
to say?
show.
You okay? Okay. So, final thoughts for
I'm
the
tired,
show.
okay?
Yeah, you were up late.
Partying.
But I would just
Party, man.
relay
I
off
was
what.
talking to my aunt and uncle.
Well, that's good. Family time is a good thing.
Amen.
So, the
Partying.
producer wants to tell you to spend time with your family, value them, and cherish them as he did last night. Right? Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah, that's a good.
Okay.
Party,
I'm glad I could put
party.
words in your mouth. I'm sorry.
Party hardy.
So.
You're losing control.
I will build off of everything that was said. Spend time with your family because they are important. Protect your family because they are important. They are God's charge to you. Just because an anti-hero film was made does not mean that we agree with the things that are in it, but rather we do believe that there is a societal issue that needs to be fixed. 5 out of 10 is generous. You could even say a lower score for that movie. But what we would say is it's good. It's good that something was made. It's good that we're talking about it in the culture. We need to realize that we need to enforce the laws. The government actually was intended to do good. Romans 13, 1 through 7 specifically lay out what a government ought to do. When it is not doing, we must use every means in our power, right? Every means at our hand to, whether it's voting. If we can't vote, we need to get involved with our local community. We need to be involved in our church. We need to be actually changing the world around us with the power that we have and the time that we have. So with that said, hopefully that cautionary tale does some good. We got nothing else for you. You have a beautiful and safe week, and happy 4th of July a little bit early. We'll be doing that show next week.